On the surface, it seemed like an ordinary publicity stunt for female emancipation, the pre-depression equivalent of women's liberation. A contingent of New York debutantes marched down Fifth Avenue in the 1929 Easter Parade, each openly lighting and smoking a cigarette. It was the first time in the memory of most Americans that any woman who wasn't a prostitute had been smoking in public. He was dubbed the Torches of Liberty Contingent by Edward Bernays, its brilliant behind-the-scenes organizer. Bernays, a nephew of Sigmund Freud, later admitted that he had been paid a tidy sum of money to orchestrate the march by George Washington Hill, president of the American Tobacco Company. But long before the public learned who had engineered the parade, it had achieved its goal of breaking the taboo against female smoking. Within months, in fact, the politest of American ladies were puffing in public and sales of Hill's Lucky Strikes were soaring. The event is still hailed in public relations lore as a triumph. Some people consider it the coup that launched a whole new, distinctively American industry. Most of us are aware of public relations. It's just a lot of PR. We say with smug confidence that we have pierced the veil of hype around us rather than be taken in by some anonymous huckster. But few outside the public relations industry know how well PR really works, and fewer still realize how often we are persuaded by it. Nor do many of us know how much of our news and other information originates from the desks of public relations practitioners. The best PR is never noticed, says the proud unwritten slogan of the trade. The sad truth is that PR executives are today mediating public communications as never before. Flags are no longer mere authors of press memos, video news releases, and pre-packaged articles used by lazy reporters and editors, nor are they simply builders of bridges into prosperity in a fly-by-night film-flam business, as theatrical publicist Ben Sonnenberg once described his chosen profession. That too we now accept about PR. PR has become a communication medium in its own right, an industry designed to alter perception, reshape reality, and manufacture consent. It is run by a fraternity carefully organized so that the only insiders can observe their peers at work. Veteran PR professionals can read the front page of almost any newspaper in the country, or watch a segment of broadcast news and identify which of their peers placed, handled, or massaged a specific story, even which executives arranged the placement, managed the spin, or wrote the CAO's quote. But can you or I, or do we assume, as we are supposed to, that some dogged reporter, trained and determined to be the objective eyes and ears of the public, set out to research, investigate, and report his or her findings as accurately as possible? About a third of America's currently practicing PR men and women began their careers as journalists, where they learned how to investigate people and institutions, how newsrooms work, and how to write a compelling and informative story. In a strange way, many of them are still journalists. Academicians who study media now estimate that about 40% of all news flows virtually unedited from the public relations offices, prompting a prominent PR exec to boast that the best PR ends up looking like news. Furthermore, some of the country's best journalism schools now send more than half their graduates directly into public relations, an almost traitorous career choice to traditionalists who instruct students how to handle PR executives and circumvent the barriers they erect between the truth and the story they want told about their clients. With media becoming dependent on PR for more and more of its content, public relations executives have become inordinately powerful. Even the most energetic reporters know that they have to be somewhat deferential in the presence of a powerful publicist. No one on a national beat can afford to get on the wrong side of Frank Mankiewicz or Harold Burson, knowing that their firms together represent a third of the most quotable source in the country. People often equate public relations with the advertising industry, and in fact almost every major Madison Avenue agency, from J. Walter Thompson to Young and Rubicon, owns or is paired with a large PR firm, but PR firms carry out activities that are often considerably more secretive and sinister than designing clever slogans and video imagery. The modern account, managed by a PR advertising giant, can now package a global campaign that includes a strategic blend of paid media, advertising, and free media, public relations. Add to that some of the other standard services offered by most PR firms, including crisis management, industrial espionage, organized censorship, and infiltration of civic and political groups. And you have a formidable combination of persuasive techniques available to large corporations and anyone else who can afford to hire the services of a PR firm. The independence of the press, already challenged by the influence of Madison Avenue, is now further compromised by the interdependence of advertising and PR. Corporations use the integrated communications to describe this massive institutional meld, and its consequences are profound. The methods of modern advertising, steeped in subliminal psychology and imagery aimed at the subconscious, have proven themselves effective at selling cars, mouthwash, and cigarettes. Today, similar methods are used almost reflexively to promote and protect ideas, policies, candidates, ideologies, tyrants, and hazardous products. As propaganda, once the honorable purview of speechwriters, editorialists, and orators, bypasses the conscious mind and is targeted at the subconscious, the consequences for culture, democracy, and public health are staggering to contemplate. A single public relations professional with access to media, a basic understanding of mass psychology, and a fistful of dollars can unleash in society forces that make permanent winners out of otherwise evident losers, whether they be products, politicians, corporations, or ideas. This is an awesome power we give to an industry that gravitates to wealth, offers surplus powers and influence to those who need it least, and operates largely beyond public view. It is critical that consumers of media in democratic societies understand the origin of information and the process by which it is mediated, particularly when they are being deceived. Thus, it is essential that they understand public relations. By offering between-the-lines analysis of PR's role in some of the most important stories of our time.